Good afternoon, everybody. It's Sunday, the 14th of February, and I'm Nola, and I'm coming to you from one of the most beautiful spots in New South Wales, which is an area that is south of the nation's capital. I'm at a place called Royalla, and behind me are 3 of the 10 horses, in fact 11 horses that I've just met this morning. I'm here with a colleague and a friend, and we've been talking about her plans for 100 acres up in the Snowy Mountains region, and I'll bring a little bit more about that to you in future sessions, future Peace Bites. But for today I want to talk about the outcome of the Senate vote. We know that how the Senate voted in the United States, and we know that that hasn't established a precedent to protect not only future presidents from being able to use their power inappropriately, but also protect the American people and the rest of the world from negative use of positional and personal power. So when I think about the outcome of that particular vote and the precedent that it didn't set, plus the precedent that it did set, we have to think about the word truth and perceptions and the link of perceptions to truth. There's been a lot of talk about truth coming out. And when we think about truth, it's a very personal thing. So my truth is not necessarily the same as your truth. And if what you say you can speak as truth because of your own personal experience, that has far more weight than speaking a truth based on somebody else's experience. When I wrote No Boxing Allowed, and I wrote some subsequent books, all of which have received a number of awards, I wanted to bring to you the very best options available for you going forward. So allowing you to make choices that were right for you, but also opening the door to opportunities for choices by operating, by speaking, by not speaking, by doing and not doing in a slightly different way than what you may have previously. And in those books I present basically what is a best practice option. But in my discussions this morning, what has come out, repeatedly is that ultimately people have the option to look themselves in the mirror and say, is who I am and what I'm doing and what I'm saying the very best that it can be? And am I being the best that I can be? Is there something else that I need to do to make more positive change for myself and for others? And are the choices that I'm making full of integrity? When I look at those horses, the thing that came to mind, and I came back with dusted hands. I was stroking Ghost, who's one of the horses, a younger male horse. I was stroking him quite a lot and talking to him rather quietly. And the thing about animals is that they see truth. Their experiences are their truth, and there's no manipulative judgment applied beyond the reality of what they see, they hear, they feel. Their experiences are their truth. So when you talk about what is truth, you can only talk about the truth to you. So what has actually been experienced by you, that is your truth. So when somebody like a president of the United States or any other politician or somebody else that you deem to be influential tells you something that is truth, then you really can't speak it as your own truth. It is not your truth, it's their truth. And in reality, sometimes people will not speak honestly, and they will project an impression that they want people to believe that is truth. Perceptions, on the other hand, are an interesting factor of life. We all, as human beings, perceive our surroundings. I stand here and I experience and I perceive peace around me. This is a really pretty countryside, and luckily, I'm on a huge ranch that's been subdivided down into smaller acreage lots, 20 acres, 40 acres, and so on. And there are multiple houses on these lots now, but it still feels very country. And behind me, the horses, there are 10 horses out in the paddock. They've got quite a big area that they can roam around and be free to experience and perceive their environment the way they want to. When we perceive a situation a certain way, and then we expect other people to accept our perception as their truth, then that's using your personal power inappropriately. What I perceive standing here is totally different to what you might perceive if you were standing here in my place. So don't think that your perception is actually a truth that applies to everybody. I've said it before many times, and it's interesting when you think about human beings. The ones who are very fixed in their thinking will tend to say, no, my perception is truth. You might not have wanted me to perceive it that way, but it's definitely that way. So what you're doing in projecting that perception onto other people is actually pushing your view and wanting to control the other person's impression and their perception of what's going on around them. Now, I know that I'm standing here, there's a lot of creepy crawlies on the ground. I'm mindful that I don't have the right gear on. So my perception is a lot about risk managing this situation. We're still in summer here in Australia. There's still the likelihood that a brown snake will come along. So I need to be really aware of my surroundings and perceive risks as well as reality my own way, so that I can manage myself in this environment. But if I brought somebody else over here and asked them, how do you perceive this environment and how do you perceive this reality, it will be based on their experience, their level of resilience, and their own manner in which they risk manage situations. This week going forward, I want you to think about truth and perception, and potentially reflect on your own thinking about truth and perception, and see if you can identify when you're taking on somebody else's truth as your own, or when you're wanting to impose your perception and your truth onto other people. I hope you have a great week going forward. I'm certainly going to enjoy my afternoon today, and I will be coming back to spend more time with these beautiful animals. Bye for now.